It's time for the Mortgage Mailbag.
All right, time now to open up the mailbag, get to a question, Bill, that came in that I think is a good one, and one that I'm sure a lot of people have asked you in the past, and I know we've addressed probably on this show at some point, but it's always good to kind of go back through these scenarios for people with credit score that maybe they aren't happy with. So today's question is, can someone with a bad credit score, say under 700, still purchase a home if they have the funds for a big down payment?
So first thing I want to mention is just know that 700 is not a bad credit score. Okay. Now, 700 is not what it used to be, because if you had a 740 score, you got the best rate. And then in 20-point increments, the rate went up from there, and 720 used to be the third tier. Now you need a 780. So as you know, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have gotten a little bit more strict with interest rate. You're going to get a higher rate now with that 700 score, okay? But a 700 credit score is actually a pretty good score. And you can obtain most types of loans with a 700 score. There are some situations where you're probably, if your debt ratio is super high and you're trying to do a 3% down loan, you might be prohibited from doing so, but 700 is a pretty good score. You're going to be, have available to you most options.
And two, I know we've talked about this before. If someone came in, let's say that this person came in, and this was kind of one of the first parts of the discussion you had with them about their credit score and that sort of thing, and you talked about different options they might have. You also will probably work with them on, here's some things you can probably do to bump up your credit score, right? Because there are typically some ways to improve your credit score fairly quickly.
Yeah, so we love providing guidance on how to get your scores to increase. In fact, we just put a client under contract who we help bump scores up into an acceptable lending range. This person we had been working with for a little while, and finally we got their scores up, and they just went under contract on Monday. So we're definitely looking. Yeah, it's very exciting for us when that kind of work, culminates into somebody being able to buy a house, and we're always happy to give that advice. And sometimes the advice, Ben, is hey, I had a gentleman that we settled maybe 8-9 months ago. His credit score was a 615, and we said, hey, pay off these 2 credit cards or pay them down. Don't close them. Don't ever close them. Pay them down, and your score is going to go over 740. So with this person, we got a much better interest rate by making 2 changes, and the credit cards he paid down, the balances weren't that high. And that's an extreme example. I wish they were all that pretty, but there's a lot of opportunity there with trying to, make adjustments on the credit report, bump up the scores, get better rates, get qualified at all if you're not qualified. So that's the kind of stuff we're looking to do to help our customers maximize their buying ability.
Yeah, and while that might be an extreme example, I mean, it just goes to show you that you just don't know what you could change until you get in there and have that conversation with someone that can help you, right? Because it could be that you're in a situation too where you could bump up your credit score by 100 points by a couple quick, simpler moves. It might not be the case, but you just don't know until you have that discussion. So to kind of close it out, Bill, is there any credit score that you would say is kind of like the cutoff to, hey, let's do a little bit of work on this before you look into a mortgage? Because I know you say 700 is on the higher end, so maybe it's nothing for this person to worry about. But if somebody came in and said, hey, Bill, my credit score, and I don't know how low they get and how low you actually see, because thankfully I'm fortunate enough to not have been in that low of a category quite yet. But let's say somebody says I'm under 500, Bill. Can I still get into a home?
Yeah, so what we always say is you're better off having us look at it no matter what it is, because we can tell you how to get to an acceptable score more quickly. We have tools and simulators that we use. Case in point is, I've had this happen many times where I have a client that maybe they're at 550 and they go and they pay off all their collections. And you would think that that's responsible. I'm paying off my collections. That's going to increase my score. Actually, it can decrease your score to pay off collection accounts. You may not need to pay any collections off. You might be completely wasting thousands of dollars by assuming that that's going to help your credit. So we always say, no matter what the score is, let us look at it. This is all we do all day long. We'll help you get to where you need to be more quickly.
Very good. The best place to start, log on, smartmortgageshow.com. You'll find all of our episodes there as well, extra videos that you can sort through. And you can also get in touch with Bill and his team at Cross Country Mortgage, his office there in Chadsford, Pennsylvania. And again, you can begin the process. Any of these things we talked about today, the best thing to do is to start by having that conversation, going with him and meet and beginning talking about the options, where you're at, what your goals are, and you can start moving forward from that point and see if it is a good fit for you. And if not, I'm sure Bill and his team will have some advice and have a plan for you to get to where you want to go. That's the ultimate goal for Cross Country and for the Litton team. So some good things to think about there. But if you want to call, 484-352-4151 is that number. But again, Bill, great conversation today. I know you kind of got to go with where the market is. I know the financing options are out there right now, right? And looking into those, but also looking at the historical data and talking to people about kind of where we've been in the past and what that could mean for the future. So all very relevant conversation. And hopefully in the future months, we'll be talking about rates coming back down and kind of what that means for the market as well. But in the meantime, encourage everyone to kind of reach out to you. But as always, we appreciate your insight and taking us through our current real estate market.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And certainly we're always here to help. So please reach out. We'd love to hear from you.
Very good. For Bill Litton, who is the regional president of Cross Country Mortgage, I am Ben George. Thanks for listening to the Smart Mortgage Show. We'll have a new episode coming soon, so subscribe and stay tuned.